You know what the thing that throws me about this is looking at myself up to the side. It's like, oh, hey. Okay, people, welcome back to another Fwoosh convention roundup, rundown, something. What are we going to call this?
The post-PulseCon parlance.
Oh, that's too many P's.
Alliterate your way through it.
Yeah, Stanley. We are getting together like this. It's just, there was a convention. We usually talk about stuff once a convention ends. We're usually tired, sitting in a hotel room.
Sitting on the same bed, yeah.
Things, what? I wasn't going there, I swear. But things usually get, dreary-eyed and rambly.
In a hotel, so now it's just dreary-eyed and rambly in the comforts of our own homes, right?
Right, but we've been in pajamas the whole time watching a convention online. And I really have to say, Hasbro did a good job of making it feel like an actual event without leaving the house.
Yeah, for it being, first time in a format like this, with a lot of unknowns, aside from not being in the room for those panels, they really kind of kept the candor and the presentation very much the same as it is in San Diego.
The only technical difficulties they really had was once John Cena and Tenacious D got on today,
Leave it to them.
kind of lost her connection to them, so John Cena had to kind of take over, and they went other places, but they came right back for the next
they let a blank screen take over for
no, they just talked about whatever they were supposed to talk about, toys, and they didn't. They just kind of
but you could see him. You couldn't see him. Yeah,
he did that several times. Can you see me? But it was really cool. I mean, like being at a convention, you're waiting for times, you're sitting through things you may not want to watch, but it's worth it once you get to there, and then they wow you with a presentation type situation.
One thing that I noticed is that I think each presentation, they had varying degrees of overall success, but all of them felt genuine for the most part, and it was well put together. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see, because if I was sitting on the other side, I would have probably considered this to be a real success in terms of how it was pulled off. So, this year's forcing us to think about a lot of things in different ways. So it'll be interesting to see if, they kind of think of how they go on the road, don't go on the road, do their presentations, and do something like this more often. So maybe not just save it for a couple of times a year, but more frequent.
Yeah, I mean, it's saving them money. It's time. All eyes are on them all weekend. I can't see them. I mean, I can see them doing this again instead of big shows.
And it's kind of cool to see things like prototypes in person, and of course, the people that you come to know, like Dwight and some of the other guys. You get to talk about things that aren't just shop, I guess, right? So that part's kind of eliminated. But in terms of the whole point of taking everyone from Rhode Island to the exact opposite end of the country, the real purpose of doing that, they pulled it off pretty well.
And you and I have sat through enough panels to know how they usually flow, or each team's style. And watching them this weekend, it's pretty much like being in the room. I guess the first panel that we ran to, or that they
run to
yesterday, was Star Wars, which really, again, if it had been San Diego, the Star Wars panel is usually earlier in the day, isn't it?
Yeah. And in the past, I think last year they were on the Star Wars and Marvel were on the same day, but Marvel was always like the only reason why you stayed until Sunday, because it was so late on Saturday.
Because I guess there's been a couple years where we closed down the show after Marvel. So Star Wars started, and then I can't remember if Black Series was first, but one of the first things they showed was the Phase 1 clone trooper on that new body. Have you gotten the new body?
I haven't even seen the troopers. I've only gotten Akbar and Tebow so far, because I couldn't leave them there. My set hasn't arrived yet.
Gotcha.
I watched your reviews and they look pretty snazzy.
It's some weird decisions, but at the same time, it's a good looking clone.
And that original clone was so stiff and
and I think the problem with the Camino clone is they based it on the animated series, so the helmet kind of has that look to it. But I think with the Phase 1 clone, they fixed that to make it more movie-like.
I want to see the Phase 2 clone because I don't have many plain white Phase 2 clones because they didn't really put that out there a lot in the early days of Black Series. So it's cool. Phase 1 clone is cool.
You think they're going to do a Phase 2 that's more movie accurate and not animated style?
I hope so.
That would be cool.
I love both. Black Series to me is they're pulling even the animated stuff more into the real world, which to me the movies are. That seems funny to say. Yeah, I hope they do movie accurate Phase 2.
What about Dark Ray from The Rise of Skywalker?
It's a cool figure. I mean, it was all digital render, right? So there wasn't really anything real about it. Which I would imagine because of the outfit, it's going to be a lot of soft goods. But I can't tell. I mean, it was rendered as quote unquote sculpt, but ultimately, what is that material going to be? I don't think they said, did they?
And now you have me afraid it's going to be a traffic cone of some kind.
Okay, it's either going to be a traffic cone and look good, or is it going to be something that ended up looks like, Leia, New Hope Leia? Because that's not any better.
Mr. I hate soft goods, but with that much soft goods on a Star Wars figure, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah. But that switchblade lightsaber, I noticed when he demonstrated it, he kept his finger. You saw it too? He kept his finger over the hinge as he opened it. So I was like, tricky.
Not quite production yet.
No, but so it should work better when it's from the factory. And then, there was some Mandalorian stuff, and keeping with the trooper theme, how about some incinerator trooper?
Very, very neat. I like the effect, the actual flamethrower.
It's thicker than you would think it would have been,
Yeah, I will say, of all of the characters that they haven't done yet from the Mandalorian that they could have done, it was like, yeah, it's cool. It's another trooper.
I know, but at the same time, I think, we've heard the rumors and everything. I think they showed these for the show, and then once they get closer, if they've got to fill out Mandalorian Mondays for
Mando Mondays
for a while now. So I think they're holding off some good stuff because they also showed that armor. Did they say if it was going to be a regular release down the road? And right now it's exclusive.
It is going to be a regular release. They did say that the exclusive is like the actual, like some of the effect pieces. Those are the only things that are going to be actually exclusive.
That's what I thought. But then we get to just some deluxe releases, and man, I know which one. I already know who you're going for. You want to talk about Boba Fett first because he's your favorite?
Me so very happy.
I mean, as much, I don't know, Jar Jar is just integral for your prequel play.
If I'm not mistaken, he sold out on Pulse.
I haven't been keeping track of what's selling out and what's that, but it's Jar Jar. It's a nice, unique, awesome looking sculpt. I mean, character.
When they showed him, it brought me back to thinking the last time you were up here and we were setting up my Star Wars shelves, and the episode 1 kind of shelf is pretty barren. So
yeah,
I'm glad to have him, and I hope we get more episode 1 stuff because it's probably the most neglected at this point in terms of characters or unique looks for that movie that they've done. So I'm as happy as can be. I cannot wait for that figure.
The only thing I think it's missing is a head with a tongue coming out.
Yeah.
And then the other deluxe is a fully new sculpt Boba Fett from Return of the Jedi.
I like this one, and I really like it just because. And you'll have to let me know if I'm going to lose cred for saying this, but I actually prefer the Return of the Jedi look of Boba Fett over the Empire look for Boba Fett.
I flip back and forth, and I think people pick their sides just for color preferences and small, tiny detail changes. But me, I like Empire. It's a little bit more militaristic. Like, okay, well, Return of the Jedi feels more piecemeal. I grabbed this gauntlet from here and this gauntlet from here, and
right.
But I like the uniform color, the slightly more uniform color of Empire. But with this new sculpt, I mean, it's going to be damn good. It's going to be better than the old one.
Yeah. The Empire Boba Fett, it was an early figure, but it's pretty limited with its movement and stuff like that. So it's an interesting choice for a deluxe figure because I mean, giving him stuff that he really needs and the effects pieces and whatnot. So I think it's a good choice for that format.
Do you think it's enough effects, though, to make it a deluxe release?
That's a good question because it seems like Jar Jar has at least as many pieces that come with him, but he's got some really big pieces that come with him.
Yeah.
So,
Well, big pieces, and he's also going to be, well, I'm guessing a fairly tall figure too.
yeah. Well, at the very least, in what, 3 years, they may pare down the accessories, but he's going on a vintage card. You know he is.
Oh, well, yeah. I didn't even think about that. Well,
Mhm.
and I should. I guess I was subconsciously thinking about that because there's also the archive line. Speaking of repaints and reissues, they're not going to fix much sculpting stuff on these. Like Luke still doesn't have wrists, but I don't know. For people that missed out on the brown coat Han.
I was looking at the Hoth, Han, and Luke earlier today, and those two figures really exemplify what I consider to be like the low point in terms of face painting and things like that,
Mhm.
in the Black series. So those two, I'm actually pretty excited to get, even though I have the brown coat. Exclusive Han, so I'm really glad to get both of those. Thrawn,
Haven't seen him up close enough to, because
yeah,
they were talking about the photo reel really enhancing the eyes and stuff.
yeah,
So maybe that's more detailed.
and to me, I love Cody, but I have not been high on him as a choice for this line anyway. It's like Cody does need to be redone. He needs to be out there again, but he needs a non-helmeted head.
Mhm.
And now that they've got these new clone bodies, they need to use parts from that to help make him a better figure. I
Yeah.
don't know. That's the one I don't know if I'm gonna get.
I think Cody was the winner because
Hmm.
people just wanted him, any form or
Yeah.
fashion. So, I mean,
That yeah, it's like when you think about what the archive can do, it's like A New Hope Han should be in here to fix this, but
oh well,
Cody needs a
yeah.
little bit of fix.
Past that, we got into the real stars of the show, the holiday edition troopers. We had already seen leaks the night before. I got tagged in about 500 posts for the which store is that? The Target Range Trooper that's in the Santa
Everybody knew
get
what
up.
was,
Hmm.
and that's the only one that I didn't get a dang pre-order in on time.
See, and that's crazy. It being Target, it's the first one I clicked on because I knew it being Target. Well, part of me was everybody seems to hate these figures. Surely it'll last a minute, and it lasted about 5 minutes. But
Yeah,
because by the time I grabbed it, grabbed Best Buy, or well, no, what was the other ones? GameStop and Walmart,
and Amazon.
and Target sold out. Amazon still hasn't put theirs up, have they?
I thought maybe they did.
That's the only one I'm missing because
Really?
I've pre-ordered all of them.
It's ridiculous.
It's crazy. It's silly.
But it'll kind of be fun to incorporate a little bit more Star Wars into the holiday displays and things.
Mhm.
And I was thinking you got Gus for Santa Claus, which the Santa Claus Range Trooper, which I think is perfect. But there are a few other troopers out there, and now that we've had some crazy, cool but crazy people give us our own. Like I see a holiday FwooshCast coming with Gus's elves running around in those other on those other bodies. So we're probably gotta have to make that happen.
I I hate the fact that they did it scavenger hunt style, like they did with the credit collection for Mandalorian. You could take these troopers, stick them in your Christmas decorations around your nativity scene, wherever you want to put them, just to spruce things up a bit.
And Babu Frick and the Porgwins.
Oh yeah,
Um, the, those are almost worth it for the price of admission alone. I don't know why those got to me, but they did.
that snow porg is adorable.
Hmm.
Don't
Hmm.
tell anybody I said that.
Oh, everybody's gonna hear it now. You can't cut that out.
And Star Wars had a pretty good showing for it was a little bit of something for everyone.
They went into the next HasLab thing, which was um, exciting because the Razor Crest is cool, and it's already funded. So good for them. I'm kind of waiting on that next Star Wars HasLab to be Black Series
Well, see,
something.
for a split second, I was like, "Oh my God, they're doing Razor Crest in Black Series." No,
Yeah.
no. My problem with more ships in the Star Wars line is vertical space or horizontal space.
Hmm.
Man, they take up a lot of real estate. Because have you figured out a place to put your TIE fighter?
No, I mean, if I really wanted to, yes. But the fact that, and I don't mean this to sound this way, if it was a classic TIE fighter, I'd be looking a little bit harder.
Yeah.
But since it's not, I'm kind of like, well, if I can get it to work, I will. If not, I don't know.
The classic X-Wing and TIE Fighter would be make the room.
Like right in the middle.
Right down the middle, right
Yeah.
above your center row of shelves that you put in
The ones
sometime.
that aren't here yet.
That panel ended. I was pretty happy. And then we waited for a while, and then Marvel came along. And that's
Yeah.
always a fun panel, no matter what they show. I mean, they start out with some pictures, and then they go right into the Fwoosh top 10, huh?
Yeah, that was fun. And somebody asked me, "Have you guys done the 2021 yet?" And I was like, I don't know. But no, we haven't, right?
No. Yeah, they marked 2019, but that was the end of 2019 for
Right.
2020. On the forum, they've already started, hey, PulseCon's over. Is it time for top 10? Which means everybody after that has posted their top 10.
Yeah.
But they still have Fan First Fridays, and there's New York Comic Con online. They may have something or around in
Yeah.
that somewhere. So I think we're just going to wait till December again. It's just a
Yeah.
good time to start the new year with
Yeah.
here's the top 10 results. Well, I
It's
mean,
not going to be just MCU Quicksilver.
yeah. I'm sure there will be a lot of choices, even though I want an MCU Quicksilver.
Lockjaw first, my friend. He's been on there a lot longer.
Well, they started out with a whole wave as far as reveals go. And as soon as they said Gamerverse, you could just feel, oh, what? Are they going to do some designs? But I'm one of two people that probably like that tactical look for Captain America. I like the first one. I like it even more stealth with the
Yeah,
black.
it's cool. I will admit that the last Gamerverse wave was the first full wave that I didn't collect in a long time. And you know, it's fine though. I mean, I'll poke fun and say it's the Spaceballs stunt double.
Yeah.
You know, with those guys. But this wave had a little bit more things in it for me. So just having a few of the Gamerverse stuff, I mean, that's cool. There's room for everybody.
If you don't like it, you can skip it. I mean, it's not a big deal unless you want the Build-A-Figure, I guess. But
Right,
I
and
mean,
with Iron Man, that's a really good choice too because the colors
mhm.
are cool and seriously, how many armors are we up to now? You can fit that into your comic display or wherever you want, and none's the wiser, and there's no reason why it can't go with them. So
Yeah, it just builds up the armory. And like you said, it's a nice swoosh blue. It's
yeah,
beautiful. But getting past those for calling this a Gamerverse wave, there's a
mhm.
surprisingly good amount of comic book figures here.
Yeah, I'm very pleased with you know, a lot of the choices that they made for this.
I mean, they popped off with Falcon and called him classic, which to me is like a open V all the way down to the belt kind of look, but this is kind of classicy too, and I think I prefer this.
I'll admit that Classic Falcon is kind of an acquired taste. I like it. It gets us closer, I think. The way I look at it is that this version is coming out, and he's going to get to stand on my shelf for a while, and then they're probably going to do a retro.
That'd be cool. Get some feathers going on and stuff. But then you get to Thunderstrike, who is just pure 90s. I don't have any connection to Thunderstrike. I like the look of this
Me
figure,
neither.
but I wish there was a neutral head. That's my only complaint, really.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. I think maybe if I cared about the character a little bit
Mhm.
more, I would, you know, be there. But as it stands, it's okay. I'll take it, and you know, for Thunderstrike, it'll work.
But I mean, you come back around, you get some classic villain with Kang, an
Mm,
all new sculpt with the texture
mhm.
on the cloth and the head looking like an actual helmet and the face. And I mean, this is Kang.
Yeah, this is getting into flavor country as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
He looks really good. He's obviously going to be more appropriately scaled because the old Kang is a cool figure, but it's way small. I consider Kang. I mean, yeah, Avengers, but Kang always kind of belongs to the Fantastic Four with me, so that always makes me happy. You know,
Where do you consider Jocasta or Jocasta? How do I say that?
I've always said Jocasta,
Jocasta? Paladin?
Jocasta,
Paladin?
Paladin.
I always think of her as Avengers.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I love this look. I mean, it's just sleek. I wish it was more chromy or shiny, maybe. I have nothing against swirly twirly plastic, but she looks good, I think.
She's a great design. Never had a figure, at least Legends, right? I am really excited for that one, and she's really one too. It's like you can pick up an extra one and hide her in a cantina, in your Star Wars display too
That's
somewhere.
true.
Yeah.
And you may need an extra one to put the Lalandra head on.
Mhm.
She takes me back to one of the Avengers annuals where it was like the B team Avengers,
Mhm.
Beast and uh, Gray Hulk and
Yeah.
female Yellow Jacket. Yeah, I'm good with that. Speaking of Gray Hulk, though, I'm a master of segues. Going into this Joe Fixit, it's the Gamerverse version. You
Mhm.
looking at the pictures, what do you think? Is it gray or green?
The pictures are green to me.
But do you think it's actually gray? Because sometimes when I look at it, different monitors, different screens, sometimes it looks grayish, sometimes it looks greenish. So I haven't made up my mind yet.
I would say this one's green,
Okay.
and it looks cool.
I can see this releasing and then getting some third party heads with new hats that are bigger and looks more appropriate for the body. Because if I had any gripe, it'd be like kind of pinheaded.
What I'm hoping is that with a few new parts, we may see it reissued, as a more comic based one with a few new parts, right?
Could you imagine them taking the tie off, putting a bow tie on, and having that Wolverine cover with when they're in the white tuxes? That's what I want.
Actually, a real cool pack, actually.
Yeah.
I tend to be all about that. To me, this is a stronger Gamerverse wave than the previous Gamerverse wave, which those are cool figures, but
Mhm.
it's not Jocasta and Kang, you know.
You think she's like the forerunner of a new Ultron? I mean, it's like you have her and she looks
Hmm.
good. We need a classic Ultron now.
Nothing like giving us a figure that we've never had in Legends for like preceding a version of a character that we've never had in properly in Legends before, right?
Properly, yeah. We've had a couple versions, but I mean,
Yeah.
speaking of that, if they were
Oh,
to give us a good, nice, classic Ultron, you would think it would be in a Bring on the Bad Guys wave, right? Man, it's almost like I scripted this, and I didn't. I swear, there's no script here. It's just that's how it
well,
goes.
well, you get good reaction for the segue, but also because this wave has potential to be amazing.
It does. Out of the two they showed, which one are you more excited for?
How do you make me pick between my own children, right? Because I mean, it's like they couldn't be further on the opposite ends of the spectrum from each
Mhm.
other. But man, that all white suit arcade with the platform shoes, swappable. Are you
Yeah.
kidding me? He looks amazing. And then to finally get what I'm going, and I may get called out on this because there may be some small details in there, but I'm considering this to be a full blown classic Dormammu completely, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah. I mean, this is if I picture Dormammu in my head,
Hmm.
this is what comes up.
The only thing that I could say about this is that now they better be giving me my classic Doctor Strange to go
Yeah,
with this Dormammu, but otherwise he's pretty damn perfect. Both he and Arcade. I don't know what I would change or nitpick about either one of those figures.
no, I mean Arcade even coming with an alternate head for
Yeah.
the Avengers Arena look.
Hmm.
But for me, it's that classic head. I mean, going in some kind of control room with the X-Men going all crazy out
Yeah.
in Murder World. Yeah, that was. I loved Arcade whenever he popped up. Then they started another wave,
Hmm.
just a tease kind of, yeah, just initial offerings for
Hmm.
the first Spider-Man wave of 2021 from Into the Spider-Verse. It's Miles, which is looking really accurate,
Hmm.
and I love this look.
Yeah, that's a neat figure. That Miles figure is one that I don't know if he would ever like feel appropriate in this display, but like he's the perfect like on your desk figure to me.
But after that, they went straight into Gwen. Of course, I mean, if you're doing Into the Spider Verse, you got to have Miles, of course, and
Yeah,
then Gwen, and she looks good too.
yeah,
I mean, I like that Dwight pointed out that he had the hood and the down hood on. For me, the winner of that is her unmasked head.
yeah. I was gonna say that's the selling point for sure.
Yeah, she looks really good. She also comes with a little static Spider Ham. I guess that
Yeah,
ball joint in the head, and yeah, he fits that spot. I mean, would I like articulation? Yeah, but I'm good with that
Yeah.
because I think and I may have missed it in all the excitement because during these panels I'm trying to take screenshots and save them to folders,
Yeah.
I can have pictures for the front page. But is Stiltman the body, the head, the arms? Is it a Build-A-Figure, or is he come like that and then just his legs are the Build-A-Figure parts? Because
Oh, and just his legs come with the ninjas,
yeah,
the hand ninjas.
yeah, I can't remember. I may have to go back and rewatch that, but I don't know if
I,
his.
I just know that Stiltman's going to have to be like at least this tall. I've got some space for taller figures. He needs to take advantage of that.
And when Dwight first pulled out the showed up to show it off, and he came up over the top of the computer, I was like, "Holy shit!" Actually,
Yeah,
did it. That's
yeah, yeah. Well, that'll make for some fun Instagram looks and to see how many people get how crazy people get with it because somebody's going to have it as tall as their house or something, right?
yeah. But then
Yeah, no.
they revealed the hand ninja comes with legs. So if you're going to army build ninjas,
Hmm.
you get as many
Hmm.
extensions as you want. That's
Yeah,
an awesome idea too.
yeah. I support that a lot, and we've never had Stiltman before. It's like it's a cool character, and in my mind, that's a Daredevil thing, right? And Daredevil can always use more villains as far as I'm concerned. But I think he's going to lend himself to some funny figure photography and things like that. So that'll be a trip once he actually releases.
And then they got into some single packs. Well, okay, I don't remember if they talked about the deluxe Thanos next or if it was last, but we'll just go straight into it. Thanos, finally that classic Jim Starlin Infinity Gauntlet version.
Yeah, even probably when you would think to yourself you're pretty exhausted by Thanos figures at this point. Nope, because that's never been a
No.
Legends figure. They got close, like a Walmart exclusive one a few years ago, but I can't wait for this one.
Yeah, I'm hoping again with that digital painting and stuff, I'm hoping out of the factory we get that nice highlights of the lighter blue on the darker blue, just to bring
Hmm.
out all that detail. And this was another figure that I was afraid, oh no, big wide open mouth chompers showing, but they did say there was going to be a smirking head. There's also a Silver Surfer coming to Walgreens, even though it's based on a different storyline. I always think of when I think of Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet, I always think of Silver Surfer running at it. He's about to grab it,
Hmm.
and Thanos pulls it away at the last minute. Getting another Silver Surfer in kind of that darker color scheme is pretty awesome.
Yeah, Silver Surfer can't escape Walgreens.
Oh,
It looks cool though.
I forgot that other Silver Surfer was Walgreens. They must really like them. You haven't read House of X or Powers of X?
Big one. No, I haven't. But it's a new X-Men storyline for them to grab onto for a new year because that seems, that's the gravy train that's running right now. So it's got some interesting looks.
And I don't even know these looks, but at the same time, I'm such a sucker for X-Men that Magneto in white. Okay, I mean, especially how striking
It
that
looks cool.
black, white, and silver is. On the flip side of that, how minimalistic Professor X looks with just black body, Cerebro-like head.
It's a time saver for the paint decoing. I mean, it's all right here, right? I mean, that's what
Yeah.
you're getting the figure for. But to me, not being familiar with the storyline, but seeing like the PR material and covers and things like that, it's like there was no way that they were going to be able to do a line devoted to this without a Professor X, right?
Oh no, no, and especially a chance to do a Professor X in such a different look than what we're used to when it comes
Hmm.
to Charles. It's just, hey, I'm
Yeah.
good with that. And then finally, Moira. Oh my God, I cannot say this for some reason.
Moira.
Moira, 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 Moira,
Yeah.
Moira. Ms. McTaggart.
Yeah, I'm thrilled. I honestly wasn't sure if we would ever get a Moira McTaggart in Marvel Legends. I will say that the look that they showed off for her to me almost looks a little bit more like 60s, 70s Lois Lane, or she's gonna make it. She looks like Mary Tyler Moore a little bit, which is cool. The figure looks good, but they did say that she was going to come with more parts to make it a different version. So maybe we might get lucky and get a lab coat in there or something, because that would be what I would want.
And right beside it, it shows a cover with several different looks for her.
Yeah, definitely. And I can put that version on my shelf and say I've got a Moira McTaggart figure, and she looks. It's a nice looking costume, and I would be glad to have her. But I am interested to see what other look that you can achieve with what they're going to include.
And then they went to the X-Men Retro, which they started out with Gambit. I don't like the lighter brown jacket, but from what I understand, this is the toy colors. But the biggie for me is they took away the French fry hair and gave him a more natural, as Dwight would put it, surfer look.
As someone who isn't necessarily a big Gambit fan, I love this new figure. I can't wait to get it. I think you're right. They took really the things that you would consider to be the weakest about the previous release, with the head and whatnot. But I guess if you like the brown coat better, you could probably swap all of that stuff out pretty easily to have the darker coat with the you could probably mishmash the figures together to get what you want.
And plus, I love that they actually painted the cards this time around too with suits. But I think the biggie for a lot of people was Miss Rogue.
This is definitely. I'm glad they brought her back, because a lot of people missed that figure or whatever else. And I think that this version is better than what they did before. The hair is definitely a lot more Rogue to me. I need to see the face a little bit more. I don't know about the face yet. Part of it is that I think that it looks kind of scowly, or like she's kind of got her, and it's kind of that's kind of exacerbated by the fact that the art on the card, I mean, she's got this like the biggest smile you've ever seen in your life on the card art. So they kind of set each other off in opposite directions. I just want to see better pictures. I'm in for both of these. It pains me that they're Target exclusive, but
I don't know about that. And we're going to get more into Target here in a minute. Well, we've been into Target with the damn Range Trooper, now these, and here in a minute. But before we get to that, one last one was the Firestar.
So because it was part of his like mean tweets, yo Dan, I'm all about the yo part, so I'm with you on that, and whatever you had to do, my man, to get her into this into Marvel Legends. Firestar and the rest of the Inhumans have pretty much been squatting in my top 10 for several years now, and I think I had her as number 1 last year, and I am so glad to finally have Firestar.
If I had one gripe in the action here, but other than that, I'm down. I'm ready for this.
Yeah, I've always loved her as a character, and that would be from watching reruns of the Amazing Friends. Obviously, the costume is bright, the way that it needs to be, and I am so happy wherever. I guess wherever she's going to fit in to the line to finally be getting her.
This was rumored, before this. We hadn't actually seen the figure, but this is one of the reasons I bought the retro Spider-Man, because I was passing on it because I have Moff X and all that, but I don't know. I need him to stand with her, and then we need a blocky Iceman.
And all I can say is that I don't like to critique things that we don't see, but she better damn well come with Miss Lion.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, gotta have it. But that was the end of the day for Saturday, and that rolled all the way around, and it seemed like G.I.Joe happened really early this morning, but we're going to skip past that for a moment. We're going to go to something that neither of us know about.
Yeah.
Know nothing about.
Yeah.
But as soon as I saw the pictures of this, I knew you would be texting me going, I need it. And that's
Yeah.
two Power Rangers villains. You like Pumpkin Wrapper, right?
I'm gonna bite off of you for a second and be like, VB don't know Power Rangers, but I need that pumpkin wrapper in my life like something fierce. And I don't know what he is or what he does or whatever else, but that figure is going to be glorious.
It's crazy. It's wacky.
Uh-huh.
It needs to be in a display somewhere.
Wherever he's going to go down here in my collection, you know, for the month of October, he's probably going to find his way upstairs, right?
Yeah.
I saw that picture and I was like, wow, this is a Power Rangers thing. And I was like, this doesn't really fit in with Power Rangers. And then I was like, that is the most ridiculous thought you've probably ever had, because what does fit in with Power Rangers? Because it seems like it's so crazy and all over the place. But regardless, he's glorious. I cannot wait to own that thing. So I'm going to probably buy 3.
And between that, and I was watching the Power Rangers, even though I have no interest whatsoever. I think they did some kind of vote thing between him and King Sphinx. And I think if I were to get the pumpkin wrapper, King Sphinx is odd enough to fit in with other stuff too. I mean, I like that Egyptian kind of feel to it with the wings and it's just a beast to put somewhere.
I would be lying if I hadn't already jumped on the interwebs to look up some of the, previously released Power Rangers villains figures, just to see if there's anything as crazy out there that I might also want to pick up. Because, see, here's the thing. I have some stuff in my collection that I don't necessarily have a real strong bond with, but because it's cultural phenomenon or has significance or whatever else, sometimes I have some of that representation, in my collection. It's like, all I know is that these two better not turn into my need to assemble like that original like Morphin team, because I see that happening.
Because I did kind of like the look of that translucent pink, sparkly Pink Ranger. I mean,
she looks gummy-tastic, right? It's like if she
there was something about it that was like, oh, I like that a lot better than just the painted plastic look.
They're doing a really good job with these Power Rangers figures, and the articulation, how it's pretty standard that they've got kind of the floating rib cage, but then also the ab crunch too. That's pretty slick.
You're going to end up with a whole shelf. You're collecting Power Rangers now.
I was going to say, it's like, I'm becoming a Power Rangers guy.
But the thing we have been collecting, and that happened right off the bat this morning, is G.I.Joe Classified Series. And man, guys, I want to love you. I want to like these figures, and I do like the figures. I love the figures. I just wish they were a little bit easier to get.
So they started at an 11.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because it was like, here's this Zartan figure.
Oh, man. Right off the bat, they went straight into, let's reveal.
And here's a very popular character who has been brought into this line, and he's adapted the aesthetics of Classified, but he is very, very true to the original design. And then they go absolutely batshit crazy with the accessories and all the sculpted detail. A fucking monkey's paw. I don't know if he has a prior association with that, because this is my first Joe line, right? But this figure is phenomenal.
I mean, it's crazy that they went with the bare abs like the original figure. I mean, and I like the extra mask, and it goes in the backpack, like that's where it generates and stuff.
And the fact that it actually fits over his face instead of swaps it out, that's really cool.
I don't remember them mentioning it during the panel, but in their solicitation, it says changes color under ultraviolet light. The original figure turned kind of this bluish, kind of color under something.
It seems like that would have been something that they would have mentioned, especially because I think all of the guys on the G.I. Joe panel, they were great. Just being pure, straight through, everything. But maybe the fact that it really needs to be like sunlight, so nobody was outside, so they couldn't show it off. So they didn't mention it anyway. But
these prototypes aren't made of that plastic. that these are all
Right.
painted and stuff. So I can see why they didn't show it.
And then they went straight from him to like what felt like 100 pounds of collector angst coming off of my shoulders because the Cobra, what they're calling him, Cobra Infantry,
Yeah.
that has been previously in a slightly different deco. I'm not going to share the number that I walked right into Big Bad Toy Store and pre-ordered today, but it was several and it was easy.
Yeah, yeah. And he's a little bit stripped down in the weapon department. He doesn't come with the goggles, he doesn't come with the sniper rifle, and he doesn't come with the rank shoulder thing. I guess
Hmm.
I guess you can call, if you found the Target exclusive one, that an officer of some kind, and then this can be the grunts.
My dear wife got me. I have one. I think that almost makes it perfect because, as you said, he's going to be a little bit different. So
Mhm.
he can wear the rank, he can have the goggles, and he can kind of be the higher rank, and the rest of the guys are strictly the cannon fodder. Yeah, with these two, I was like, oh yes, they got it. Okay, cool.
But then they started going into the next two, and was it specifically said right off the bat, or did they just start going into here's? Oh no,
No, no.
they announced it as Cobra Island, didn't they?
Yeah, I was gonna say the second that map showed up on screen, I was like, "Fuck."
Yeah. But then they
Mhm.
started showing pictures, and I was like, "Oh, Firefly, huh? Okay. He looks
Yeah,
cool." I'm not used to him being as bulky as they made him, like this bomb expert type guy.
it makes me wonder, like the pieces that can come off and what he looks like underneath there,
Mhm.
because maybe you can take the bomb proof vest and stuff off, and maybe he's got the camo and everything still underneath it, so he's a little bit more straightforward as
Mhm.
far as that goes. But man, the detail in the face and how he's all like mucked up and whatnot because
Yeah,
he's probably had shit blow up in his face before. That's great.
and his crazy eyes, he's got one closed a little bit more than the other, and they even pointed out that the mask's not even put on straight, like he just kind of
Yeah,
and went running. Which,
yeah.
going back to the Cobra Infantry real quick, if you look at that face, man, the Target one's really nice, but this one seems even more detailed. And they did
I'm extremely impressed by the work that they're doing in the faces on all of the figures. Even if there are some like design or color choices that I don't necessarily care for, what they do actually do and the detail and the thought that goes through some of this stuff, it's like these figures are more complicated in the things that they deal with than stuff that I deal with every day. So
yeah.
it's really neat.
I love that even the heads that are mostly masked has
Hmm.
they have so much personality just poking
Oh,
out this much of a face.
Beachhead has a ton of personality.
Hmm.
Tons. Yeah, absolutely.
But then they showed a Cobra Viper, which
Mhm.
I'm not as invested with the Vipers as I
Me,
am with the troopers,
me.
infantry.
Well, yes. And my investment comes from not attachment or experience with them. It's just I prefer the look of the troopers over the Viper, which that may get my credit kicked out as well. But I kind of like the more straight up infantryman look.
And I think they were explaining it that the Viper is more of a specialist type. They're the SEALs of the troops, the Cobra troops.
Hmm.
They go and do the specialist stuff. So in that aspect, I'd like to get maybe a couple, but at the same time, with it being Cobra Island, we were already getting ready for that announcement of, oh, and here's Firefly, and here's this, and all this, and here's the Cobra Viper, and here's this, and he's wearing a helmet, but we put goggles on it anyway, and they are Target exclusive. Okay, guys, let me see you later. Bye. And you could just feel
Yep.
the internet go.
From a personal standpoint, I'm going to say this is that uh, I'm going to make Firefly my priority, and hopefully I can find one or get some help from some very generous friends to find one. I'm actually making him more of a priority this time because, as you said, I had more of an urgency around the actual infantrymen themselves. But at the same time, if we learned anything today, maybe Viper might show up slightly different later on, because I'll only probably need a few of those for my own sanity at this point. I'm going to put my focus on getting Firefly. He's a unique character. He
Yeah.
looks cool. So I definitely want him. But I consider myself to be a reasonable person most of the time. And so dealing with trying to acquire these Target exclusives, I've needed some help for sure. And at first it was like, well, this is getting it out here, and it'll get better. But today it did not get better. And this to me now has moved beyond just some online complaining, because that's omnipresent, right? The fact that I was refreshing and those popped up for the first time 3 seconds after the last time I refreshed for it, and it was completely sold out. I don't care how popular a line is, and you can chalk it up to that. This is not how you handle something like this. It's just not.
I was on Target.com. I had G.I.Joe Classified series in the search bar. I was clicking. Nothing popped up, and I was seeing people. I had the other screen open, and I was seeing people. Oh, got my order in. Search Cobra Island. I'm like, why wouldn't it come up for damn G.I. Joe Classified? It wasn't until somebody posted a link. I went through. It said add to cart. I added both of them to cart. I went to cart. They were sold out before I could even get to any kind of pay screen.
For all the things that went very, very well for PulseCon, Target had a horrible showing, in my opinion, because the sellouts and the things like that, it wasn't unique to Joe, right?
No.
So something's got. I hope something is going to be done, because I want to give them more money. I do. I honestly do.
And as frustrating as this is, and I hate to say that, I always get, oh, well, you're just an apologist. It's Hasbro. You can't talk bad about Hasbro. They've done, what, 2 Destros, 3 Cobra Commanders. We've already talked about this several times, and you touched on it a minute ago. They've taken the Trooper from there, put it in the main line. I can see them doing it with Beachhead down the way. Baroness, we've already seen her art, and in the game has the gold on the armor and the purple highlights in her hair. So I got to think, like you said, the Viper down the right, even Firefly may show up at some point down the line without the bomb stuff or in a different look or something. The problem is that these figures are so good that the frustration. Any other line, I'd be like, oh, I'll wait for, okay, they're going to do that eventually, then I'll just wait. Not getting these when they're as new and fresh and awesome as this line is off the bat, that's what makes this worse.
Hopefully it's 6 months, 8 months. It's like, oh, well, he doesn't include the goggles to go over his face shield anymore. And they, and here he is. So go order 10 of them at Amazon, right?
Yeah. Because I mean, we had pre-orders at other sites. Why would the Range Trooper on Target sell out in 5 minutes, but you can still go to Walmart, you can still go to GameStop, you can still go to Best Buy? Didn't show up until today, did it?
Right.
And then wherever those 4 other places still have plenty of stock, it seems. But then Target's, well, I mean, it is Gus, so he would be the most popular. But
but the thing is that I can take this even outside of Hasbro, right? I mean, the struggles with getting NECA Ninja Turtles on Target's website. NECA is doing everything that they can to, I think, to try to make that better by going through other means, right? But that doesn't mean that the Target problem itself is being solved. NECA is solving it outside of the Target box. There is something.
As soon as it bottlenecks into Target somehow, I don't know if they do it like we want them to come to stores. Let's limit or
But you know what? My thought on that is that, and it's cliche to do this, but when Walmart's doing something better than you are, you're failing.
Another thing not good though. One last thing. You want to touch on the Ghostbusters Pulse or Plasma Series? I don't know. Because that Ecto 1, it doesn't say the size on the site, but Hasbro's own documentation has it at 1/18th scale.
Yeah, so there are a couple things. I feel for the Ghostbusters group because the movie being delayed has obviously had to make them so they didn't have a ton of stuff to show off. What you bring up with the Ecto 1 is problematic for a couple of reasons, and it's because yes, it's It's the afterlife version of the Ecto-1, not the classic movie. But this is being branded as a Plasma Series Ecto-1. And the only exposure that we have had to Plasma Series thus far is that first wave of the classic Ghostbusters, which are 1/12 scale.
Well, I mean, they're a little small. That's yeah,
But
but closer to 1/12 than 1/18.
right. And yeah, they were holding it and it was like, oh, that looks a little small, but the figures are a little small. Well,
Mhm.
like you said, so it is 1/18. So it does not go with the Plasma Series figures that have been released thus far. So you could say, okay, well, that version doesn't go with them anyway or whatever, but that's something to me that you probably want to make clear,
Yeah.
uh, and they didn't. um,
Um,
but in the end, it didn't really matter anyway because the damn car was Target exclusive and it sold out just as fast as the damn GI Joes did,
well,
right?
the thing about it, my problem was, well, on top of them not making that blatantly clear, is that people buying this and then getting it in hand and realizing, wait, I bought this thinking one thing and it's another thing.
Maybe it was just something that wasn't mentioned, and I understand that.
Yeah.
But at first I was
Oh,
like,
well, looking at it now, it does say 1/18 scale on the front of the box. It's
well,
very, yeah,
I
but that's
I
the only
was
place on the Target page that says that.
well, and that's the thing. I was cursing about that, just like the Joe stuff, because I missed it and I really wanted to get it. But because I found out really after the fact that if it would have been in stock, I would have bought it, and then I would have found out later that it was 1/18, and I would have been like, "What the hell? I
Yeah,
don't want this."
yeah,
And not that it doesn't look good because it looks cool, but I don't have a 1/18 collection of any kind,
yeah.
really. So
Does this mean future Plasma Series stuff is gonna be 1/18 to fit this car?
maybe, I don't know, but if they switch, kind of what they've got going now, then I'm probably out.
Yeah.
I mean, I would be out.
Mhm.
So I would rather see a 1/12 Ecto One classic Ecto One. Maybe they can do that via HasLab or something. But Ghostbusters is one of those things to me. It's like Afterlife is coming out. That's going to be cool, and I hope you make a lot of money on the product that's going to help support that. But as a property with legs, you you got to think that the classic movies as well as the real Ghostbusters is what's going to probably keep it going as more of an evergreen property for Hasbro, right?
Yeah, yeah. But that pretty much finished the day off, and, like we talked about at the
Yeah.
first, man, they did a great job, overall as a
Hmm.
presentation. I mean, just
Yep.
6 hours a day. Well, no, was it longer than that yesterday?
It was a
Eh,
little longer than yesterday, I think. Yeah.
yeah,
Close.
but to keep it going that long on a live
Yeah.
stream, that's amazing.
The Target thing overall, notwithstanding, I thought it was very successful. The reveals were very good for what they did reveal. Most of the panels were engaging, um, mm,
Yeah,
as
yeah,
much
yeah.
as they can be for being remote. It was overall it was successful. I'm very happy with what I was able to order, and it makes me want to see, okay, when are you guys going to do something like this next? I mean, it may not be over 2 days with every brand that they have, but it's like, let's make those Friday things or the Monday things,
I don't,
show us something every time.
it wasn't mentioned a lot, but I can't remember if it was the Power Rangers panel. I think it was them that they said, well, we're going to continue on with the Fan First Friday stuff, and we'll have live streams throughout the rest of the year. And so, judging by that, I feel like they're just going to keep on with the reveals every few weeks.
And that's going to be good because I will say that it seems to me that as opposed to San Diego, the quantity of things for each property that they showed off wasn't really as much as what I'm used to. Because I mean, God, we're used to seeing like 3 waves of Legends or something like that at San Diego, I think, right? But since this was virtual, they can kind of tease it out more and keep
Yeah,
it going. So
yeah.
that's cool. That's cool because it's not just July and February, July and February. I mean, we already know February is not happening.
Well,
So
well, even the past couple of years, they've been getting to February and then a spring show somewhere, and then San Diego, New York,
Mhm.
Europe, Mexico.
Yeah.
We would get reveals all over.
If right now this is my gun. This is my gun. It's to your head. You got to tell me the number one thing that was your favorite thing that you saw.
Oh, dude,
Yeah, I
that
know. It's
quick?
unfair.
Ah, I'll probably go Zartan.
You know what? Had you not just said Zartan, I'd probably say Zartan. So I'm gonna say Firestar.
Firestar. Second would probably be the range trooper or the armorer.
Yeah, the armor is cool.
Yeah,
The armor is cool too.
but
Yeah.
that's really hard
And
to.
Jar Jar. Jar Jar.
There's Jar Jar. There's
Jar Jar,
Stillman.
Firestar, and Zartan. I mean, what an eclectic group. And Pumpkin Wrapper.
Oh, yeah, damn it. A Power Ranger makes your top four.
Yeah.
That's a crazy weekend. And arcade. Don't forget, I can't forget
Oh.
arcade.
Okay, well that makes it an even 5, so we'll take it.
We're good with that. And that makes me happy.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
and that's a good way to end this.
There may be some more you know, interview type situations coming up in the not too distant future too that I think we should be looking forward to. So we've got some stuff planned.
We keep saying, and the FwooshCast is back, but we'll see you in 2 months.
Yeah, we're trying.
Yeah, we're working on it. So until then, though, we'll keep looking at toys, keep talking about toys. Fwoosh front page, Fwoosh YouTube. But
You might even say, well,
catch you on the Fwoosh in general.